Animations. Probably one of the most time-consuming activities you can have, but when done right, it can create some really interesting stuff. For example, it can create this masterpiece. And this also applies for video games. But usually animations are the most important things in a video game.
It feels almost exaggerated. Is there a level where it's like, okay, is this still realistic?
I've gone back and forth with Pat about this a couple of times. In the beginning, he wanted the fastest reload that you possibly could get with the remodels. I kind of went back and forth with him. I was like, well, if we do that, then you're gonna lose all the flair. It's almost like a taunt, when you reload. It's like, pull it up and it's just like, who's next? And then you get back into action. So I told him, I said, I'll do it as fast as I can, but at the same time, we still need that flair.
If you play an FPS, you don't really care about how good the flashbang animation looks. What is important though are things like gameplay, design, and balance. But what if I told you that there is a genre where animation can help balance the game? Okay, you already know what I'm talking about. It's the fighting game genre. And I'm going to talk about Brawhalla more specifically. When you do an attack, it is important to have an animation attached to it. It's a visual indication that helps you know whenever the opponent is about to hit you. It's well known that the speed of an attack is attached to its frame data. The less frame there is to an animation, the faster the attack will be. But what if I told you that you can make a slow attack fast? Let's play a little game. I'm going to show you two clips. Your goal is to guess which SIG is faster. So, which SIG is the fastest? If you said this SIG, then you're wrong. The correct response is neither of them. They all have the same amount of startup frames, but how come this one felt faster than the other? Well, it has to do with the animation, but how exactly? Well, let's put both SIGs side by side so it becomes easier to understand. As you can see, this SIG has more sudden movement compared to this one. So there was less visual information. Visual information can be given in many ways, like the amplitude of the movement, the color of it, etc. Let's take two other SIGs this time. As you can see, there is a clear visual information of both SIGs. Violet charges in front of her with a pretty distinct animation. The particles are a bit subtle, but nothing too discreet that you wouldn't notice it. As for Lin Fei, the SIG may come out fast, but the animation is still pretty clear on visual information, the visual information being indicated by this giant dragon. Now let's see some bullshit. For those who don't understand what is the problem, let me explain it to you. Sakura lost the dragon, but not only that, she gives a pretty confusing visual that takes the form of her head backing out. Why is this confusing? Well, in the middle of a game, when you have to think fast, and when you see her head backing out for a split second, you might get confused and think she is side-singing in the opposite direction. As for Stefani, the problem isn't the clarity of the visual, but the lack of information regarding the direction. So, okay, whoever gets like the weapon, okay, you got the weapon, okay. So basically, right, what's gonna happen, right, I'm gonna jump above you, right, and then you're gonna side-sig, decide right or left. No, it's just like, I
couldn't even tell where that was going. I hate whoever designed You deserve to burn in hell. I thought that was coming towards me. I thought that was going towards me again. Why is that?
For you, Karma, like, hold your side stick for a bit. You probably understand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like.
I mean, you can kind of tell. Wait, no, you can't.
I mean, you're like. You're thinking fast, right? Yeah, you can't tell it like this.
Because it looks behind you.
Yeah, it looks behind, so you
really
think.
Confusing.
Yeah. Well, I needed to like do an example straight up, but I think Karma just said everything. Like, let's just pause for a second. Would you be able to tell me which direction he is going? Of course you wouldn't be able to. There's no indication whatsoever. And you know what's the worst part of this? Is that these crossovers are skins, meaning that you have to pay for them. But hey, it's not the worst thing in the world, I guess. Like, the advantage isn't big enough to have everyone play the crossover instead of the actual legend. You sons of... According to YouTube statistics, 80% of the people watching me are not subbed, so please consider subbing, cause that really helps me out. This crossover is borderline pay to win, and this is due to two things in particular, the sound and the color. I'm not going to talk about the sounds too much, since it's not the focus of the video, but just know that having no sound is benefiting the user of the SIG. But the red aura that is normally there is just gone. And the arm moving isn't obvious enough that it screams, "Hello, I'm a SIG that will kill you on orange." And if you play 2s, there's a big chance that you saw this guy everywhere, especially if you're playing on NA servers. With this, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Peace.